Thanks for being here. Today, I am working with secondary colors, which is also considered, which I'm also considering complementary colors. So first, I will be working with turquoise and orange. And I also included some white and some black, and I also have some acrylic medium, fluid medium right here. These are some of the pieces that I've been working on. I was just playing around with them and realizing how magical playing with complementary colors is, just the two, because they make so many varieties of colors. And they even, like turquoise and orange makes this beautiful pink, and it makes almost a black. You can make all kinds of grays and browns. My cats just freaked out because they heard the mail person. So that's the turquoise and the orange, and then I thought that was really fun. And then I also was playing with turquoise and orange, but I added some hot pink. I added this Sakura solid marker thing, but that's kind of beside the point. You can kind of see all the fun colors. Sherry, I painted this way last weekend and have discovered that I have difficulty making random shapes and marks. Goes back to childhood, I'm sure. Truly no joking. You painted sort of abstractly, or you painted using complementary colors? I also used, which we'll do if I have time, we'll do orange, or sorry, yellow and purple, which are complementary. And just look at those variety of colors. Isn't that crazy cool? I mean, obviously it depends. Oh, there's no sound? Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I guess I could just go no mic like that. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened with my mic. It's weird. I'm just gonna use my phone, I guess. Okay, good. Hi, Rivka. Hi, Karis. Hi, Christina. How are you guys? Hi, Carrie. Okay, the pink is, I'm sorry, I guess you guys didn't hear the whole thing that I said there, but I'm using complementary colors today, turquoise and orange, and then maybe if I have time, purple and yellow. And were you able just to not hear me before at all, or was it just really quiet? Because I have a mic, I had a mic on and I took the mic off. You can hear in France. Great. I was playing with, I guess I can go over that again if you guys, did you not hear me at all? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, okay, so my mic was working. Actually, I'm gonna put that back on then. I'm always afraid that my mic's not working, and it makes me nervous. So I'm gonna try to put that on again, and okay, how about now? So I put my mic back on. There's sound. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, so anyway, I don't know where we were, but anyway, playing with complementary colors. This was purple and yellow, and so much fun. I just realized there's such a wide variety of colors. I was also, you know, I complained about, oh, okay, Christina, no worries, about not being able to make grays very well, but someone somewhere on one of my live sessions, I think, mentioned mixing complementary colors to make grays. And look at all these beautiful grays. Are those crazy? I think they're beautiful. So, and then I did some green and yellow together. I was just sort of playing with some more variety of colors. That hot pink is the solid marker. It's like a solidified paint marker. I have this listed in my description below if you want these. They come in a wide variety of colors. And they're really fun. They dry super fast. So I'm going to start today in my usual book, my math book. I can zoom in a little bit, and so I guess I could mix right here. I don't know, mix here. How is everybody? I was having trouble waking up this morning, getting my body moving, and I like to do this radio taiso. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's Japanese. Use it as like a very easy warm-up in the morning or whenever. You can find the radio taiso on YouTube, and it's just a simple 4-minute exercise. So I'm using some craft turquoise, and then I'm going to use some craft orange. I'm going to mix that, and I'm going to get an interesting gray here. And obviously you can skew it more towards the cool if you want by adding more of the turquoise. I also added phthalo green, which I pretty much consider turquoise. I'm just going to put down plain orange. Try to keep it simple here. Okay. And then I also have, let me do a dark, I also have red iron oxide, which is pretty much orangey. So I'm going to try that and mix that with the phthalo green and see what happens. And just the variety of colors that I've been getting is just really surprising. There, I turned the light off. I think that's better, not so shiny. And I always love cool and warm greens together, and cool blues and warm blues together. And then also layering the green on top of orange is a really interesting effect. You get a kind of stain effect there. And let me make almost like a black, because I want a dark color without using black. And I'm going to do that by, I'll get the turquoise and orange, dark orange. And it's not going to be black, but it will be very dark. I'm just using these pure orange and turquoise colors. So now look at that. It's kind of greenish, so I'm going to add more orange. It's going to be kind of a brown, but in the scheme of things, it looks very dark, almost black. Well, I think Christina, 51, is not, is pretty young. The radio taiso is really simple, and it's great for warming up. I'm kind of stiff in the morning sometimes too. So, but yeah, look, see how it's very dark. It's almost like black. against that orange, it looks really dark. Okay. And let me actually, I'm going to work on a bigger piece now. I'm actually running out of mixed media pads, which I never thought would happen because I kind of buy them. Like I can't stop buying them, but I do use them a lot. So I'm going to use this book. I don't even know what this one is anymore because I painted over the cover. This is a nice size to warm up in. I really like the simplicity of this, this composition, and maybe we can try something like that. This was the Ingo Rangholz. Some of you remember me doing that. And let's go this way. Turn a little light on here. Okay. I like to use these calligraphy brushes because the hair on these picks up paint really nicely. Okay, so let's mix some more orange into this. And we get a nice brown. I sort of like that rust color that's on there already, so I'm gonna use that to transfer onto this piece of cardboard, corrugated cardboard, and see what happens. It's very rusty looking, it's nice. How often do I paint? Sometimes I'll paint every day. I've noticed that if I paint, you know, I love to paint in the morning, but sometimes I'll start painting in the morning and then I won't be done till noon and half my day is gone. So sometimes I take a break and sometimes I go down in the studio to create stuff. I do like to paint up here in the morning. Can I paint this freely? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you think that I'm painting freely. That's just kind of how I paint. But I'm curious how other people paint. You struggle to paint loose? Well, you've inspired me to, I'm going to shoot a new episode on that, Sherry, because you guys inspired me. I might as well just use this. Here, I'll show you this Sakura, or this solid marker. These are fantastic. And you know what's beautiful is turquoise on top of like orange, because it just sings. Look at that. It vibrates almost. Here, I'll do an even stronger contrast. I'll do some pure orange. Oh, that was for chat, folks. Okay, great. I would love to hear everybody's answers. And the Sakura pens resist water. I guess they're sort of waxy, but and I'm also following, as I'm painting, I'm kind of following rules as well. I'm following rules of thirds and just techniques that I've picked up over the years. I'm going to add this piece of collage that was sitting over here. Yeah, thanks, Sherry. Smash it. Smash the button. This piece just happened to be kind of turquoisey, so I'm leaving it. Let's see. Hi. Hi, Lydia. How are you? I didn't know you were joining. It's good to see you. We're doing complementary colors today. Oh, I'm sorry. I was a little bit off camera there. I didn't notice. I'm going to get all my toys out. I have this dirty, crusty sponge that I like to paint with. I'm going to mix a little bit of, I think I'm going to do some white, add some white, because I want a little lighter tone. But I love this beautiful pale turquoisey orange. I mix some satin glazing fluid in there, and I'm going to use a little white. Maybe a little more. I'm going to use this crusty sponge just to transfer the paint on here and see what I get. And sometimes this whole like lack of control thing with these tools that I don't know what they're going to do is part of painting freely. And another rule that I want to follow is I see there's a lot of mediums on this, and I want to push and pull value. So I'm going to add some dark because I think that will add to the interest of the composition. That was just random. I don't know why. That was not what I was intending to do, but I saw that paint was dripping, so. You don't like lack of control? Ah, interesting. See, I really like the lack of control. Maybe it's something to be cultivated. Cultivate that lack of control. I'm going to do a really dark, almost black green. So I've got phthalo and going to do some red iron oxide. Ooh, that's pretty. That actually might be a nice glaze. Look at that. I'll just do that first. Watch this. Yeah, that's nice. Childhood trauma. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Look at that. I like that. And it also, it's a glaze, but it also provided a dark tone in there. And I can layer and keep layering. I really like to do transfer too, so I'm gonna see what happens when I do that. So on a piece of paper, and I can use that for later. So I have lack of control, but I also have a semblance of order here. So I guess it's sort of like a push and pull between order and disorder constantly. I think that's nice. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I think maybe some light areas would be nice on this, but I need it to dry first because otherwise it'll just be a muddy mess. This is, let's go back to this. These synthetic brushes are really good for glazing. I think it's because just the way that they pick up the paint. So to glaze, I'm going to use acrylic medium. Cultivate a lack of control. Is that actually a Joy Division song? Or does it just sound like one? Did I just reference Joy Division unknowingly, unwittingly? So glazing is nice because I can kind of change the colors of the paints behind the glaze. And the one thing I'm noticing in here is I want something that's a little brighter, like a little bright color. Like maybe I'll use some chalk. I got chalk. I could use white. Oh, hi, Haggy. Are you joining us? This is the Jack Richardson. Okay, so let's see. And don't be afraid to cover things up. I have a little fixative for that chalk. Okay, let that dry. And now, let's see, is this dry enough to work on again? Yeah, I think so. Haggis, you need to paint. Come say hi. We'll put you in the camera. Seriously, Haggis. Say hi. Good boy. I did not pick out that collar, by the way. That was my husband. He said he needed a tough boy collar, but he's kind of my sweet baby, so it's a little ironic. Lydia cat sits for me sometimes, so she knows he's just a sweet little baby. Let's try, this orange is a little overwhelming, so I'm gonna mess with that. Sorry, Rivka. And I'm always mixing these colors, so I'm just not getting boring, pure colors out of the bottle. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that color. I think I don't want to make your palms sweat. Okay, let that dry. And let's start a new one. This is not mixed media paper. This is thin sketchbook paper, but I do have a lot of fun in here. stunning. Stunning. Wow, so stunning. I'm just getting some texture down before I find my composition. I don't really know what it's going to be. But I know that some of these things are going to shine through in the end. That's really punk rock. And Rivka and everyone, switch up your brushes to, like, use hog's hair, use synthetic, you know. That'll also help you with your control issues, your lack of control issues. I'm just sort of randomly mixing the colors on my palette just to see what I get, and it's kind of like you can't go wrong. Right, Haggy? He agrees. He does answer back. He's just being quiet today. I'm gonna put down some thick paint. I need some thick. So let me get serious here. Not gonna be shy. Tack så mycket. Jag tycker om det också. Sometimes it's good to disrupt your composition by adding a big shape on top of everything. I know it feels uncomfortable to do it, but the more you do it, you'll realize, I mean, it's not always looks good, but sometimes, a lot of times it does look good, and you'll realize that, and you'll be like, you'll look at the piece later and you're like, oh, I'm really glad that I was brave and I disrupted that space. Thanks, Rivka. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to go back to this. This needs that same disruption because it's all sort of mediums, and I need a little zing in the middle. I would like to use, oh, you know what? I'll use my jelly pad, which I sort of cleaned. About as clean as it gets. So let's do, let's do like a gray color. Okay, let's see what happens here. I wanted that to be a little more intense. Maybe if I layer it. What's my thought process? I think I'm kind of like on autopilot, and I'm just sort of trying to get the composition to look good, really. but sort of, you know, kind of surfing the waves a little bit without thinking too much about it, because like obviously I need it to be kind of random, but I know that I need some lights in here. So, and I mean, I'm also trying to pull everything together because I don't want it to look too disparate. I want it to look like a piece, one piece of art. But I also don't really care that much if it looks great in the end, because these are just practice pieces for me. What? That, my friend, is the hardest part. There are too many things to be aware of. Oh, that, my friend. Yeah, well, the more you do it, I think the more it becomes sort of a natural process. This piece is not, I mean, this piece is crazy, but I'm having fun. I think that's really the point. It's just to kind of play, you know, like how kids play, they don't really care about the outcome. They're just enjoying themselves, and that's what I'm doing. There is a little bit of like anxiety because everybody's watching, but I try not to let that matter too much. What I think I'm gonna also, I think I'm gonna do the yellow and purple. Maybe I'll do that next week because it's like a whole mixing thing and I gotta like remix everything. A timer, you mean like time boxing? I don't time box, although I have to say that this is sort of time boxing when I'm doing it live because I get an hour. I'm doing it for an hour, so sometimes my hour goes over. I think I could probably time box at some point. That'd be kind of fun. In fact, that would really help me with simple compositions. You know, like one of the things I try to avoid is going right down the center of a piece because I don't, you know, you want to kind of work in thirds. I mean, at least I do. I don't like when things are split right in the middle like that. I think this is kind of interesting, this piece. It's nice, some nice things about it. And even cropping it in like that is nice. There's some nice cropped pieces like that. I don't know if it's dry enough, but I'll try. Let's see. My Posca pen. Whoa. Christina, what is my approach? Well, today my guidelines were just using those complementary colors, but, ooh, that's nice. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I do have an approach except to just play. I've tried to paint a painting where I'm like, I'm going to paint this, I want it this shape and I want it to look like this, and it never works out for some reason. That's why it's hard to do commissions. So yeah, it's really just about randomness and play, I think. There's some really interesting things going on here. Let's see. Dollar signs. Exactly. Playing, but in the back of my mind, being aware of things that are going on. Keep my eyes open. Oh, that glaze is so tantalizing. I love it. Did I start with no thoughts composite? Yeah, I thought I started with nothing in my mind at all. I just, yep, absolutely zero. This is really interesting. I love the colors. I just kind of let it do its thing on its own. I want to get a really dark. I'm almost used up all my paint, which is kind of unusual for me. Let's see. Why? You know, I might just make this darker here. Hi, Vanessa. How are you? Good morning from... Thanks, Christina. Louisiana. Oh, hi. Well, we're doing secondary complementary colors. Well, I am. Christina. Sometimes I feel that the more I know of composition color value, the more I feel my playful side get paralyzed and insecure. Yeah, you got to kind of unlearn stuff. It's true. I feel that too. I can sense the more I know, the harder it is to let go. I think that's why it's good to cultivate early on. It's good to cultivate a sense of play so that you never lose that. All right, I'm going to stop with that. And I'm almost at an hour. I think that's where I'm going to stop. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was really fun. And I think next time I will do purple and yellow, and purple and yellow makes colors like this. Really beautiful colors. So I'll do that next time. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I love having you here, and I will see you next time. Okay? Have a good day. Bye, everybody.